Cade, brother, how are we?
Hello, hello.
Yo,
What
hear me?
is,
Yo,
what's up,
what's good, bro?
man?
Hey, hold on one sec. I can't tell if you guys can hear me or see me. It's like delaying through Discord. Oh, here we go.
So
Yeah,
we're
we
just
hear
gonna
you.
do we'll just do voice because unless I think I actually can do video if you have a video camera, but we're totally comfortable doing voice as well.
Well, I'm just gonna go out on a limb, given that he has a thriving YouTube channel, that he's got a camera.
Yeah, I mean
Pretty sure he's got several
I got
cameras.
it. Wait,
Big facts.
I figured it out. My bad, guys.
Nice.
There it is. What
Dude.
is up?
you got your getup
Man, that was-
on, bro.
that was
I
rough.
love it.
Bro,
I
that was
love
rough.
it.
I couldn't find the stream chat. I was on Google. I was like, bro, how do you get in a Twitch waiting room? And I was like, oh, it's in the Discord. And I was like, son of a bitch. And I ran over. My internet's slow. It's good to meet you guys, though. I was having fun in there, just listening to you guys kind of rant in the beginning, just talking. That was cool.
Oh my
Nice.
god, dude,
Good to meet
Cade,
you,
you are
man.
fire. Hold on, let me.
Now, Cade has become Maddie on the stream.
What was that?
Now,
Oh, I know.
Cade is-
Everybody thinks he's Maddie Mintz right now. It's
Yeah,
okay.
no, sorry.
Maddie Mintz needs,
probably the
Maddie
best handle
Mintz
you could have.
needs a Cade level
Yeah.
following.
No big deal. Yeah, it's the sunglasses.
So is
I don't
that
know when to
your?
wear them. Sometimes I won't wear them. Sometimes I do. I've been talking to a company for a sponsorship, and they asked me. They were like, "So what's the deal with those glasses? You just gonna wear those like all the time?" And I was like, "Oh, I was." And they were like, "Okay, that's fine. That's fine."
I freaking love
No
it.
story though.
Yeah, sorry.
It just kind of like happened one day.
We should have done the video first. That's my fault. I should because your video went to where Maddie Mintz was, so I just had to redo you in
turn
real
off?
time. No, you're good, man. You're good. You look beautiful. You got the hat on, you got the sunglasses on, and we're pumped.
Woo!
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we get into the
yeah.
questions, I sent you kind of the questions in that Google Doc, but I wanted to say, do you even know how I found you?
I sort of heard in the beginning, just little like bits of it.
Yeah.
When I was like getting ready, but I don't. If you want to say it again, I'd love to hear it in full attention.
So we interviewed this dude Kook, which was Asher's amazing find, and he is soul expert extraordinaire, super cool dude. Was walking through Portugal after going out with his buddies on a night, and literally had the AMA with us for like 2 hours. We had a freaking blast. And I guess someone in his circle, like in social on Twitter, had overlapped with kind of my influence on my Twitter page, and they're like, hey, you need to reach out to this Cade guy because he's going to be perfect, similar vibe, and you guys are going to have a blast. So yeah, man, that's how we found you.
That's awesome. That's so crazy. Actually, I remember that. I bet you were saying at the end, you were like the power of social media, the fact that that's even a thing. You can just like, a tweet can happen, can be like, oh, this guy follows him too. And then you're like, hey, like I know this guy. And then stuff just piles and you meet all these crazy people that you never thought you'd meet in real life, you know?
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. The only thing I will say is I think it might be your bandwidth or internet connection. It's a little choppy, but I mean, I'm okay with it. We can still hear your voice perfectly fine. And
I love it.
Okay.
Matt and Asher, are you feeling the same? Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
little choppy.
It's a little choppy, but we can do either way. I'm cool with
Almost
it.
like a standstill image every now and again. But I mean, I think it sort of just points out as to why Cade's wearing the glasses, because I think just his future is so bright. You know what I mean? I think that sort of
That'd be
that
crazy.
points it all out. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I
They're
love
just
it.
the stupidest glasses, dude. They literally it was a Halloween bit. I was doing like the last 10 days of Halloween. I was just buying masks at like Goodwill, and I would just put them on. And this was one of them that was like very generic. So I used it like 3 times, and people liked it. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep it. And it works for like thumbnails, for a little bit of like shock value, like what the hell is this thing on this guy's face, you know? So it ended up working out. But
Yeah,
Oh, that's
absolutely. I
awesome.
love it.
Golden.
Well, we're really glad to have you here, man. And I think we love to just start these interviews off really with going with, kind of how you got here, right? Where, if you don't mind sharing where you grew up, where you went to school, how you got to the seat that you're sitting in right now, and then that usually segues perfectly into how you got into NFTs and just hear kind of your journey.
All right, dude. Sounds good. Yeah, so I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, southern east part of the country. And I grew up there, lived there my whole life, and decided I need some change. So I went to college Charleston, and I played soccer for a year in college and then blew out like both ACLs. So went on this new journey of being like a fitness dude. I did the whole fitness influencer thing for a while, and I was one of those guys. And eventually hit a wall there. Didn't really want to do that anymore. So got into making videos, doing podcasting, getting into like investing, crypto, finance, and kind of spent the next long time doing that. And also just working on my YouTube channel. Like I've been doing YouTube videos since 2010 or something like that. And I've just been trying like to catch the algorithm until like now. It's like finally it happened. And
wow.
I mean,
so how long did you say? Say that again.
2010 or 2009. You can find videos on my main channel. You can go all the way back and find soccer videos from back then when I was doing like how to curve a soccer ball, like best free kicks, and like I was doing editing on like a movie maker. It was ridiculous, dude. But I've always loved doing it. So
that's amazing, dude. And so do you make all your own content? Do you produce all your own content too?
Yeah, I've always done it all. The editing part's been the most fun, but now that I'm making like not as fun of videos to edit, like I used to make these crazy vlogs or cinematic sequences, and now most of my video editing is like pretty standard, just like cut, splice, add music. And so that's getting kind of old, to be honest. But at some point, probably my first line of action, once I'm making hopefully YouTuber money at some point, is hiring an editor, because I just can't keep up with the amount of content I want to be pushing out. I want to be able to push out 2 to 3 a day, and I can only muster 1, and I can do 2, but it's just really hard.
Right.
Just because editing takes up so much time, and like exporting and fucking thumbnails, and you gotta wait for uploading, and it just much work, you know.
Matt, does
sound
that sound familiar,
Mike?
bud?
I was just gonna say, sound familiar?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So
We
much
feel
work,
you.
dude, but it's fun.
And that's, dude, we loved, and by the way, peeps, thanks for all the follows and subs while we're doing this. We don't have time to call out everybody. We want to concentrate on talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Cade. But literally, Matt, Asher, and I, before we even came on stream, we were having that same conversation. You know, it's time consuming to do the YouTube stuff, right? What are your thoughts, Asher?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that, I mean, I have no idea about anything with the YouTube algorithm whatsoever. But I mean, from what you're obviously saying, I feel like the better way to obviously capture the algorithm is to be more, would you say, more focused towards quantity rather than quality? I'm not saying, you know, having more quantity is, in effect, reduces the quality. But would you say the sort of more is better, to be sort of fine-tuned on that track?
Definitely more is better in the beginning, and just do all, like, I've made soccer videos, I've made vlogs, I've made cinematic videos, I've done like podcasts, I've done short videos, I've done every single video, every single topic, and I had to try all of them before one day I found the finance, and that's kind of when my eyes were like, oh, this is like the way, if I can just get good at this stuff. So I spent the next portion of my life just dedicating to that, and that's when like NFTs came about. Like fuck me. What was your question? I completely forgot where I was going with that. What was your original question again?
Yes,
this is why we're going to dive,
you
bro.
sort of touching on it. You sort of touching on it more, just like, you know, in terms of, you know, obviously for people starting out, and obviously, you know, for yourself, been, you know, uploading soccer videos for the last 11 years. Is that sort of what you've sort of found is the way to sort of really fine tune, or basically to get on that algorithm by posting? Obviously, yeah, the more the better.
You get to the algorithm by trial and error until you find it. And then even when you find it, you have to be able to let it go. Like when I had my fitness channel, I was doing really, really well. I got up to like 12,000 followers. And when I hit a wall and I was like, fuck, I actually don't want to do this anymore. And I literally deleted that Instagram account, because I knew that having those followers helps me in the short term, because people go, oh, 12K follow. And even though I was going to branch into like photography and like doing videos and stuff. And so I knew it'd be better to just start over. And so that's what I did. And the only reason I didn't start with my YouTube is because I think it's cool to see like a blueprint of like how I went, because I always knew I would make it one day. As far as finding the algorithm, it's when you make a video that needs to be made, you won't catch the algorithm. I didn't catch the algorithm, even though I made bomb-ass fucking videos. I made sick videos. None of them did well, ever. None of them did well. But I made a video, something about like an NFT project and people like, wait, I like that. And that took, and then I was like, wait. So I made another project video and I was like, head DAO NFT is exploding. And like, boom, 300 views. And I was like, wait a second. And that's when I was like, okay, this is how it's going to happen. And I just kind of went with it and full steam ahead, 2 videos a day for like a month.
That you did. It's funny because we're kind of in a similar position, man. We, how long did we stream Elder Scrolls Online, Matt, before we kind of really changed up the format? I mean, it was a year and a half.
We streamed, it was a year and a half straight, did not miss a stream.
Holy shit.
And it was like, we love doing this, but this is not working. And, we had made, so Mike's background, I'll let him go into it, but he's not an amateur when it comes to putting videos together and doing the graphic design side. And we had put out some amazing content as well. And same exact, we just mirrored the exact experience you just described, which was we would put together and get super amped about like, dude, this video is going to crush it. When people watch this video, they are just gonna be like, now this is it. This is gonna launch the channel. And you're right, the best videos we made, nobody watched. And it was like, what is going on here?
And it totally goes down to the algorithm. And so my buddy, I used to work for a large marketing department, and my buddy did all the digital advertising, and he said it best when he was like, it doesn't matter what content you make, you need to speak computer. And when he said that, it was like, oh, that's an easy way to like explain what you need to do, right? Because the computer doesn't care what's in the video. It cares about the tags, the relevant content, your link network, all of that stuff, right? And you then, obviously, the user cares about the content that is associated with that popular stuff. So obviously, if you make good content, it will percolate to the top. But you're gonna win. You're gonna fight a losing battle if you're not starting in the right place to begin with.
That's a great point. And one thing I want to add for anyone who's making YouTube videos or wants to make YouTube videos, because literally like 50 days ago, I was whining because I couldn't get videos and like get views and stuff, is that if you catch the algorithm, if you do this long enough, you'll probably catch it. And if you do, that's when it's time. Once you've got like a few weeks of video, consistent uploads, and you've got a little bit of a returning audience, you got a couple 100,000 people, that's when you start ramping up at least once to twice a week on your videos, doing at least a segment of your video where it's totally not anything related to the video and it's purely about you. You do like a question about your own life, an AMA, share a story that has something to do with how you got here, and start to brand yourself as a person. Because that's like, for me, as soon as I started to get people to fuck with the Brutally Honest reaction or reviews, I was okay, let me try a reaction video to like the NFT person and see if this does well. And that video got like a great amount of views. It was like Alex Becker, somebody reacting to Alex Becker. And that was when I was like, okay, so now this is how I can bridge over and become like a personality rather than just an NFT dude with glasses.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way.
It.
Matt, Asher, you have any thoughts about that?
Well, that was actually, one of the questions I had written down was I was going to say, how did you land on NFTs? Because just, I was trying to do some research. I wanted to kind of be somewhat prepared in terms of having this conversation. And I actually love the way you described it. When you go through your entire list of videos, it is exactly what you described. You can see this like evolution in you happening through the videos you did. I was watching through how you got started with the fitness, your transformation videos, and then you went into the filmmaking, and then you had I believe you called it the Joyage, which was like, quit your job, started traveling around, living in your car. And I was like, dude, this dude is living life right now. And so how did you, what took you from that? Now, the only thing I thought maybe in my guess was you did this one video when you were talking about what it's like being a full-time traveler. And you talked about how you're like, man, not having an income stream really makes this different than it didn't feel like freedom. It felt kind of like, just life, but you had all these other things you had to think about. And is that what landed you in the investment? Is that what got you looking at investments in terms of crypto, NFTs in the first place? And then that's what popped off for the videos? That's kind of what I was wondering.
I really appreciate you watching this. I had no idea you went back and watched those. I really appreciate you doing that.
Sure, man.
Man, I guess so. Yeah, I was making all those videos, kind of transitioning, and a couple of years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, is when I stumbled on finance because I was like, "Damn!" And this is when this was my actual launchpad into crypto. Was I bought Dogecoin in 2020 at like 0.0000000 everything, and I made a $15,000 profit off of it. Dollar costing my way out because I like learned something from Journey Crypto's YouTube video, and he was like, "Make sure you take 20% out every time we go." And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try that. And I literally got out 90% of my investment before I think it hit like 65 or like 60 cents is when I got completely out. And I was like, damn, I did fucking well. And that's then the first time I was like, wait, that's crazy. And also, sorry, hold on. I bought the Dogecoin, 2 years of learning about finance, making a lot of money as a server, and then like trying to learn what I can do with that money to like my life of like a free, whatever, financially free. And so I did that. And then that's when in 2021, I think it was this year, is when I was already having a really solid base of finance. I was really excited to start like really investing some hard money. And that's when my Dogecoin bag like pumped, obviously like back before the market crashed. And I took all the money out and I reinvested into the market, got completely fucked by the bear market. That sucked. That really sucked. That happened at the beginning of this trip, dude. I literally, at the beginning of the trip, the market crashed. I was 1 week into the trip, and I was like, man, let's go. I got like all this money in the bank. I got all this money in my Coinbase account, my Voyager account, and then I just woke up one day. It was down, and I got really excited because I got a bunch of people were like, oh my God, this is the flash crash. Everyone buy buy everything. So everyone fucking bought. I spent like $2,000 extra. That was like a lot of the money I was going to use for the next couple of weeks or a couple of months. And it just like didn't come back. And so it was a rough summer because I had to hold through the whole time. And that's when I really got like, I think it was April or something like that when I first got into NFTs. And then I really got into NFTs like in June when I was bored on this trip, just driving around. And I was like, damn, what is this freaking NFT thing that Journey Crypto and Elio or whoever is talking about it? So I like watched a couple videos, went online, OpenSea, bought an Evaverse NFT. That was my first NFT ever. And then it was pretty much like from then on, 15 hours a day, every single day for the next portion of my entire life. And that's kind of like where it landed me. So
15 hours a day NFTing and making YouTube videos then?
Literally, I made, no, at that point I was making videos, but they weren't about NFTs yet. I was just learning and failing and losing all my money and doing it again. DoorDashing because I literally couldn't pay for anything anymore. DoorDashing for like 5 hours combined. And then going back and doing literally NFT research in a parking lot of Walmart for like 10 hours straight, go to bed at 3 a.m, wake up at 9. Like it was ridiculous. I don't know how I was doing it, but there was a period in my life, the first like 3 weeks where I saw some like light at the end of the tunnel. I made some money on a flip and I slept every other night. I remember this so vividly. I slept every other night for like a week or two and I was an actual zombie. It was really unhealthy, but
yes. Yeah,
whatever, I appreciate the grind, man.
Ask my wife, Asher. I'm sure you have a ton of thoughts there. Asher is our investment guru extraordinaire. So, what are your thoughts on that story?
Oh, I just love the grind, man. Especially like this was when I sort of first started at the brokerage that I ran. It was, very, very similar. It's sort of like, and I find that sort of like almost the best way to grind is essentially when you've got basically next to nothing behind you, it just all it gives me is just Wolf of Wall Street vibes. It's like, like your girlfriend's going to kick you out, pick up the phone, start calling. It's literally the exact same. When your back's against the wall, you've just got to come out swinging. And it really just does define you, or just define who you are. And I love that, man. That's wicked.
Yeah. Dude, and that's such a cool story, dude. Such a cool story. Matt, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed going through the videos and just kind of watching how you got to where you are. But you could definitely see a stark difference. Like when you started doing videos about NFTs, your channel, it's a marked all of a sudden boom. You were really kind of, daily, just throwing content out. And one of the things I heard in one of your other interviews was you made an analogy to Gary Vee and how he's been doing this for 20 years and people who've been following him when he was doing his wine reviews. A lot of people don't recognize, they see Gary Vee now and they read one of his books, but they don't remember that he just started by literally just throwing videos out all the time. And being willing to move and flow with what was going on. And here now he is in the NFT space. But do you feel like you've kind of gone through a similar evolution?
sometimes I'll watch a video that Gary puts out and I genuinely question if I was him in a past life, because I mean, other than like the fact that he immigrated from the Soviet Union, everything is like the same. Like I wasn't as big of an entrepreneur, but as far as his mindset, I don't know how much of my mindset is really original versus what I've just heard from Gary Vee and Tom Bilyeu and a bunch of like people in that space who just talk about the right things. And once I accepted, like for me, well, one thing I want to go back to said a second ago, he said about backing yourself into a corner, is I got these tattoos of my brand Joyage like long time ago when I was that's right when I jumped in and said, fuck it, I'm quitting my job, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I got these tattoos because you pretty much screw yourself in every job interview if you have finger tattoos and you can't get out of it. So it was like, now I literally can't get a job. So I got to figure out another way because I didn't want to work for a boss. I didn't like the idea of relying on someone else for money. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this and deal with it later. My parents were like, bro, you're an idiot. And I was like, whatever. And so I did that. And then exactly with a perfect transition to Gary Vee, because he's literally the man. He's incredible. And his mindsets are so, like, a lot of people miss the point sometimes in his videos. And it's really frustrating because if you listen with a mindset of like, what can I learn from him speaking? Because you know it's coming from the right place. Even if the details aren't exactly right or you get triggered by something he says, you can at least take what he was trying to say. And I literally just applied what Tom Bilyeu said in Impact Theory, which is basically do it anyway. Even if you're stressed and anxious, do it while you're anxious and stressed. Doesn't matter. And Gary Vee is saying, do the thing. And I had him on my TikTok algorithm. Every sixth video was Gary Vee saying, bro, go. Do your thing. And so over like 8 months, I just broke myself down. I broke through little barriers. And it was like one of those things where you're chipping away. And I'm so big on that in my channel. That's how everything grows. You chip away. You know, every single video I make is just chipping away until I get to 1 million subscribers. It's just one extra video. It doesn't matter if this one does well or this one doesn't. It's just all going toward one thing. And if you can really accept and do those things, it just works. Like there's no other way to put it. It just works. And so, man, Gary Vee is just, sometimes he says stuff and I'm like, bro, I'm going to be you in 20 years.
That's awesome.
Dude, I
love
it.
Awesome.
I love it. Matt or Asher, I'm sure you have responses to that, but I have responses as well. So if you want to go first. Yeah, I mean, you're speaking our language, and I would think we bring up again, like, I mean, Matt and I we joke all the time. When we first started this stream, dude, months, we would talk to bots that would come in here and try to get us famous, you know, and it would just be a joke, right? To be like, Matt, dude, we got our first viewer again. Someone's trying to make us famous. We just got to pay him some money. And, you know, months we did that, and we went for a year and a half, right? And we, you know, it's funny because you're only, you know, it was just the second interview in the last week, but this same topic came up again, and it's like, our buddy Kook was like, you know, I did everything that I was told. I went to school, you know, we all have degrees. We went to school. I got it, you know, I got my master's degree. I did everything I was supposed to. And then 10 years deep into corporate America, I'm like, this is miserable. And fortunately, I had some more like personal health issues that I went through that like really like, dude, when you don't have your health and you're like, you feel like it's not a good situation, that really makes you reevaluate your life, right? And when you get out of that, I'm like, you know, what am I wasting my time for? I've got things. I've got my best buddies that want to try to make money with me and have a good time. I got all these skills that I think I'm underutilizing. So let's do it. And even with that being said, having the right mindset, dude, we streamed, like we said, for a year and a half, and not till, what did Matt and Asher, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, did we totally change our format up into the NFT space because we knew it was a thing. And dude, they just launched crypto as a category on Twitch like a month ago, maybe, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's like brand new.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were like, this is a huge opportunity, and now we're talking to badass people like you. I mean, how cool is that?
It's amazing.
Sick, and I'm going to get into the Twitch game. I didn't even realize that. I was going to just stream on YouTube, but now that you say that, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just do Twitch. I should try that.
Do it.
So what were we talking about, Asher? What are your thoughts on that? Because we were talking about the YouTube stream versus Twitch stream.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I sort of just wanted to say, like, I mean, don't want to quote myself or anything, but I mean, last week, I mean, I said a little thing, and I think it. I mean, each time I just sort of think about it, I think it's really quite touching. I think literally like, I mean, there's so many analogies for life, but I feel like life is just the crypto market. You know, one day you can be down 40, 50%. You know, the next you can be, you know, up 100, you know, 300%, whatever. But I mean, that basically it sort of levels down. But I think it's very much, you know, I mean, yes, you can sort of estimate as to what the crypto space is going to do, but at the end of the day, you don't. So, I mean, literally something could just happen, you know, whatever it is, and you're just going straight back down. I think you just need to bounce back from those hits. And I mean, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a great analogy, to be honest. But I mean, you know,
fantastic analogy.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. And real quick, Cade, I just want you to know you're definitely doing something right, because people in our chat say they watch your YouTube videos. So congrats on that.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Hell yeah.
On that.
Let's go.
Yeah, they're loving it.
So Matt, Asher, did you have another question, or Cade, did you have some other thoughts to chime off that, or?
Just gonna say something super quick. So this is something that I just noticed right when you said that about people recognize videos or something, or watch my videos, is that one thing I decided really early on, which I think has helped me a lot, and I think will be cool. And so I don't know why I'm gonna say it, but whatever. Gary Vee says to just put out all the content, so I'm just gonna put it all out there. So like my little secret has been to get me in with all these different people and connections and networking. Am I really about to give this away? Okay, I'm going to give it away. All my profile pictures across every single social media is the same, for one, but two, it's not a profile picture of an NFT. It's literally a pixelated version of me where I look iconic, I guess you'd say, in like a very small, minuscule, like not egotistical way. And it's recognizable. It's a fucking idiot with sunglasses with a tortilla, with whatever this is, sombrero on it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like very obvious when it's like, oh, that's him. That's Cade. That's the guy from the YouTube. That's the guy from I saw on Twitter here. Right. And it's worked so well because almost every Discord I've gone in, they'll be like, oh my God, that's Cade, because they recognize and it's always from the profile picture. It's not because like whatever, it's literally just the picture. So I think that's a great idea for anyone who's trying to be like a personality in the space, to differentiate yourself a little bit, just because there's so many people, you know?
Dude.
Love that.
It's your purple dinosaur, man.
What do you say, Asher?
That's what I call your purple dinosaur. It's whatever makes you stand out.
Yeah. Matt, any thoughts on that?
No, we were talking about that, weren't we, Mike? I was saying, because as we were rebranding Cade, and we were like, okay, well, we're not doing games. If we're doing crypto, you know, let's go all in. And so what does that look like? And so switching, you know, my name up over to Matty Mintz. And then I've been actually, we've been going back and forth, like on a profile picture. I'm like, well, whatever I do, I'm going to do across the board. And we were just kind of having that conversation. So I love that you just said that, because I was leaning towards, well, I want to build something that represents, you know, me, and then something that builds us as a brand. And I think that just secured it in, man. Thank you for sharing that nugget. I love it.
Yeah, and to expand off that, Cade, I mean, you're totally true when you say that, because obviously I have the choice, right? Like, do I do my own personal brand, or do I use the Hate Beast mod profile pic? I think we all know the correct answer that I should be using. And I've chosen to use the Hate Beast because it's instantly recognizable, right? So when I go in to Discords, it's immediately I was like, oh my God, is that the MikeyG from Hate Beast? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then that instantly gives me just like an in to start conversation with people. So it's been a pretty cool experience.
Access.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and also it can be like, this is like another little, this isn't really like a hint. This is way, 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 way later down the line. But at some point I do want to build the Joyage Kingdom, which is the brand, like very, very big, like so astronomically big. It sounds ridiculous to hear, but I want to be like partnering with Pokemon, Call of Duty, like big names. And so I think I can get there. It's just going to take 20 or 30 years. But I am starting everything now. Like, there's a secret account right now that's out already. You can't actually join it; it's private. But there's things that are starting now. That little things that happen early on, no one will actually know except the people who are here right now. And it's going to be one of those nuggets that you find like on Reddit somewhere at 2 a.m. It's like, hey, if you're playing the game, like the Joyage Kingdom game, you have to be able to like do this thing and like go here and find. I want it to be like, I love the Neo Tokyo idea that Alex and Elio did, and that's only possible because of who Elio and Alex are at this point in their careers. They're height of their game. They've been making videos. They've got like 1 million subscribers. They've got all these connections. They have multi-million-dollar businesses, so it's possible for them. So for me, that's not possible yet, but I can start. And so there are things happening right now. If you guys are following like my Twitter, all my YouTube videos, that's really the only way to keep track of that stuff. But there's things like this right? Like these glasses play a part in the kingdom at some point later down the line. And that's not something I guess you would know way later if I'm at like however many subscribers, because I'm not going to be talking about it at that point. It's just going to be like common knowledge because I've been talking about it for so long in my head. And so people who are early, you know, they just have all these advantages. And but also like having the glasses is a point for you guys for your profile picture. If you guys have something unique, like Mike, you've got the blue, like that blue is so recognizable.
Right.
If you did an NFT project or something, you could somehow utilize that light blue color in some way to make it iconic with your brand too. So
right. No, I love it. Asher, Matt, any thoughts on that?
No, it's fantastic. I absolutely agree, and I think that, you know, long term. So again, I'm just going to keep going back to I've been watching your videos a lot. So you had a great Q&A, and by the way, just everyone in chat, if you get a chance, the video that is titled "You're Wrong About NFTs," it was when you were on the podcast with MGC.
My favorite video.
That's a really great video, and that's like your channel. That's right, when you go to the channel you're going to see that video anyway. Perfect video, by the way, to have on there. That was like my first introduction to who you are, and I immediately recognized, okay, you're comfortable on camera. And even just with listening in that interview, kind of getting a background of that was where you kind of gave through your resume, what you were doing. Loved it. It's a great place for people to start. I'm totally going to steal that video to give to people who are my friends who don't understand what NFTs are, and be like, hey, if you're looking to dabble, start here, because you also reference back to like your beginner stages of what NFTs are and things like that, because you have other videos that are on it. One of the things I thought was interesting was you alluded to this same concept of like, hey, there's a macro view, right? There's a big picture. Asher and Mikey and I, we talk about that all the time. Where are we going, right? We got to have a compass and a direction. And I think you're 100% right, because a lot of people think, you know, all they're thinking is profile pictures, and we have to think bigger than that. And I heard you were talking about using NFTs as access, and I know that's been a hot topic recently, and Mikey and Asher have been talking about it a lot as well, is the idea of like, hey, this NFT is you know, the guy you interviewed, the CEO of no. I'm gonna draw a blank. Greg Norman Jr. When you got a chance to talk with him, you know, he actually put out a tweet when he had a picture of a private golf club, and he's like, when are you all going to realize one day you're going to need an NFT to be on this golf course?
Right.
And I was like, I was like, thank you. Somebody has said it with enough credibility to make people understand. And that's what you were kind of leading to. Is that where you see the future going?
Dude, honestly, with NFTs, you have to stay ahead. Like I just recorded a video 10 minutes before I came on, actually. It's probably one of my more important videos I've made. It's going to be like a market update, general market update, talking about NFT gaming and NFT artists, because something I called like a month ago was that NFT artists are going to be one of the biggest trends, which people are talking about now, like a couple of weeks later, which is fine. And that's great. And I think looking forward is what you need to be doing. And for me, like I look 1 year in the future, which is pretty much my smallest scope. And I look 10 to 20 years for my typicals, like my macro lens. And so when I look a year in the future, like I called out Sydney Espo, a TikToker girl, like doing NFT art and stuff like that. And she had like 200 followers on TikTok. All her NFTs were 0.06 Sol, literally nothing. You know, they're like $20 each, right? And so I called them out on Twitter and Discord and my Instagram all day. I bought like 10 of them, and I was like, guys, I think there's something here. She's a great personality on camera. She's doing all the right things. I think you should buy it. There's like no risk here. And so like 2 or 3 weeks later, she's got like 100,000 followers on TikTok. Her like cheapest one is like a 20x. And I was like, holy shit.
Right.
It's crazy because all these people just bought her NFT because they like her on TikTok. Yeah. And that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, dude, personalities are one, you need to have a personality. If you're whoever, Boy Scout Club, eventually they're going to need a real person to be like a figurehead, to be someone who's real and be an influencer who can keep them relevant, because influencers and people in the space, individuals, can stay relevant. They're flexible. They can pivot. Projects is a little bit harder, right? And so that's important. Artists are important because they can cultivate a real following that doesn't collapse in one day if the mint drops by like 20x or whatever. Like it doesn't matter because people fuck with this artist. They don't care. Right. And so that's when everything clicked for me. I was like, okay, so now I can think like this, and that's like my 1 year scope. But as far as like the macro, yeah, you have to think macro. And the macro is basically just that you need to be in the know. That's the only macro in like alpha, I think, that's actually important. You just need to be ahead, and you are ahead. Just by being here, you're almost too early. It's so hard to think innovatively like that because exist and we have literally no idea what it's going to be like in 5 years. And so just accepting the fact that you want to be someone in the space who either like matters or at least knows what they're doing in the space. And that's the macro lens you should have rather than, can I make 20 grand tomorrow? Or should I be in this project versus that project? It's like, that's not so important. That's very,
Yeah. And you bring up a great point, and we've talked about this too. And I just don't know anyone yet. And Matt and I talk about this, Asher, we all have like professional, real business life experience. But when you first get into this NFT space, it's very hard to not get caught up in the frenzy like the first couple weeks, right? And you're like, holy shit, I got to get in all of these projects. They're all going to make me $1 bajillion. Yeah. And then you finally get burned that first time and you take a step back and you're like, okay, calm down a little bit. Just calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Asher, any thoughts of the discussion?
Yeah, 100%. I think we're very, very early. Like I remember, getting on Bitcoin and running into the office, running up the stairs, extremely chuffed with myself. That Bitcoin hit $600, and I'm like, I'm out. I've just made so much money. I'm out at 600.
As you should.
Yeah. I mean, looking back at it now, not the greatest move.
But we didn't know that back then.
But at the time,
exactly right.
Exactly right.
But I mean, and in terms of where we are now, I think this is this space is definitely going to boom. But I completely agree that because we've got our sort of mind and thinking about different opportunities or doing our own project or things like this. But I mean, you're 100% right. You just need to stay ahead of the game and you need to just keep evolving. Whether it's tokenomics now, whether it's you need to have game implementation, whatever it is, you just need to basically keep moving forward. Otherwise, you're just gonna you're gonna die like the dinosaurs essentially.
Yeah. And the one other thing I need to add, and then Matt, you can chime in. But one thing that, and it's kind of on a little bit of a veer off to the left, but what you said, I think is so important for people to hear is as technology gets better, skills will continue and more quickly be commoditized, right? So McDonald's has iPads now that you can order your food. You don't need as many cash registers, and these tasks that were known as jobs are going to go away. One thing that you'll never be able to replace is this right now: building human connection, building a brand, building a personality, and that skill set is going to be so critical in the next 40 to 50 years. I don't think people realize how critical it's going to be.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, Mike, that what I was going to go to was, I agree with you, Cade. The idea that people are missing. So one of the, who is it? Is it Jesus Slave in chat? You say, hey, is it still considered early? Because Pepsi, you were referencing Pepsi's NFT launch. The answer, yeah, I believe, and I want to know your answer to this, Cade, is yeah, we're absolutely early. Pepsi just did this, but here's the thing. There's only going to be so many major, massive corporations that can do a new NFT launch before we've seen it all, right? And then it just gets old, right? The idea of, okay, how many other giant corporations now have their NFT? I think the difference maker are going to be the companies that understand you have to have those people, just like you're saying, Mikey, the influencers have to come with it, right? And there's plenty of companies that have done this well. And honestly, here's the real secret. They don't even have to have that good of a product. They just have to have the right influencers promoting it. For example, I'm not major into energy drinks, but dude, nobody can dispute that Bang Energy has just built a massive following by just picking the right social media influencers to talk about their product.
Right.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. And so it's this is an amazing way to do things. And I believe, Cade, you've referenced things like Gymshark. I think there are some great companies that have just really knocked it out of the park. And quite frankly, long term, Pepsi can't keep doing it. It can't be just every Fortune 500 company trying to do this. They're going to have to link up with these influencers who have already made a name for themselves in the space to be able to do it. I think it's the only way it's going to work, right? And just like Gymshark or any of these fitness lines, right, they have to find somebody who's already in shape. I mean, obviously you already started your YouTube channel, Cade, with the fitness line. So you get how that you get how that industry works. It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be crypto. What do you think?
Dude, that actually, I'm so excited to go into this because this is something that's big for me. Just like you said about Gymshark, right? Gymshark is a fitness clothing company. He's also a fitness clothing company. Adidas is also a Nike or like a sports clothing company, right?
Yep.
Ooh. The thing is, people buy fucking Gymshark because they like Gymshark, right? Nike is falling out of favor. No one gives a fuck. They're like old news. Like if Nike comes out with an NFT project, 100% I tell you I will not buy that. I just don't care. I don't want it. I don't want the Nike one. I want the Gymshark. Who's going to be the Gymshark that breaks into the scene when Pepsi and Coke jump in? Who's going to be the one that's the NFT version that people actually like and care about because they have an emotional connection because they worked on their branding? Right. I'm excited for that. I'm trying to find those artists. I already missed people. I missed Creature World. I missed all the people who like already blew up. I'm looking for the next people, the next group of people who are going to blow up in the next 5 years. That's who I'm looking at, and I'm investing in projects that have actually thought about visions that are past 5 years because it's important. And so for that, you pretty much have to have a competent team. If you don't have a competent team, it does not matter about nothing else in the whole project matters. Right. And that's why the Hate Beast video is exciting for me, because I said Hate Beast has a real opportunity here because they're about to knock out Supreme. They're about to knock out Gucci. Like all the big companies of the streetwear company are going to go to shit if Hate Beast can do their stuff right, if they have a good team and they continue with their brand work that isn't just whitelist focused and hype, if they can really get an emotional tie, which I haven't seen much yet. But if they can do that, dude, and they can survive that, inevitable crash after the mint, which is just what's probably going to happen with all projects that mint that have a lot of hype. You're just going to have to accept that for most people. But if they can not have a crazy drop and then actually maintain a floor that's respectable or whatever people want to say for the short term, and people don't just write them off like they did Mechaverse, dude, Hate Beast has a real fucking opportunity here.
Dude, I have said that $100 million brand, if not more, easily if they continue to do it 100%. Right. And I will say, from being a moderator of the alpha team is sharp, and they have really, really good business knowledge. We're not talking about a bunch of young kids that, decided to make some money and get a crash grab. Like, they're treating it like a business, and they're doing what you would hope a Hate Beast type brand would do,
Yeah.
All great points. Any thoughts there, man?
No, nothing from me as of yet. It's just.
So then, Cade, what do you look? So you talked about hate. What do you look? What are you looking at when you're looking at projects, right? Because you mentioned before, you start with your research. You start looking for certain overlaps. You get a whole list of 50, 60, 70, and you whittle it down to 2, 3, 4 that you can really focus in one at a time. What are your, what helps you in that process of whittling those down? Because I think Mikey nailed it, right? There's so many projects out there. I mean, you just watch on Twitter, there's always a new one. You can get overwhelmed easily. How do you help people bring that to something, especially if you're newer in the NFT world? Because I'm newer. Asher and Mikey have a lot more experience than I do in this NFT space. How do you help kind of frame that mentally?
You have to be in the space longer. I think it's the only answer there. You just have to develop a spider sense. It's not even that complicated, I think, but it's one of those things that just with time you start to notice. Like, for example, when I click, like the reason I partnered with SupDucks for my YouTube channel is because every time I look at SupDucks, when I say sup now, I literally can't not think of a duck. It's really annoying, actually. But the fact that that's a possibility and that's like a thing happening in my head, I know it's happening to other people. So the fact that I can look at SupDucks, instantly get like an old tunes, I forget what it's called, like 90s TV shows, like cartoon vibes, and instantly be like, yeah, that'll probably work. So that's the first thing I look at. Okay, will that probably work? And like 50% of the projects, I'm just like, no, that's not going to work, right? Biopills, I look at biopills and go, that's pretty sick. That'll probably do something, and I'll mark them off for level 2, and I'll like bump them up to a project that I'll definitely look at in a couple of days, kind of thing. And then I look at again. This is actually huge. This only matters more for not so much the gaming projects like biopills, where there's not like exactly iconic NFTs associated. It's just a bunch of pills. Is I want to see on their Twitter, and I go back and I actually do this. I look on their Twitters and see who's mentioning them and see if there's a single person in real life holding up like pictures or like posters or doing anything in real life, because that's so important. There's only a couple projects that even do this. Creature World, Doodles, Oogaverse, SupDucks, I think maybe Dogepound. I don't even know if Dogepound does, but if that's not a thing, or at least we're not looking at like you're going to head in that direction, that's not a good sign, right? You're not going to make it. Chances are in the bear market, when everything burns and everything goes to, everyone's yelling at me because they don't think Dogepound's going to go under $1 under 1 ETH. And I'm like, yes, the fuck it is. It's at like, so it's almost at one, like it was almost at one of the other day. And I was like, dude, we're not even close to the bear market right now. We're chilling right now.
Right.
And I was like, look, I'm going to enter Dogecoin real low. And so, this is one of the things you got to think about when the bear market comes. One, you have to have the team that can actually navigate the bear market. Most people have never been through a bear market. It's a lot worse than you think. I think for people who've never been through it, it's something it's like a coming of age thing. Like if you don't go through a bear market a full cycle, you just don't know what you're playing with because you've never seen it. And so for most people, I'm going to say, you just got to be in the space for one full cycle, see how it all happens, and watch videos like this where we're talking about things that actually matter and not continuously watching these idiots on YouTube saying this coin's going to like go to the moon tomorrow. This coin's I'm just like, bro, what are you doing?
1000x.
I mean, my first thought of that is, that's just the YouTube's version of trying to monetize with BS, right? Like just NFTs doing rug pulls or not putting the effort in that they need to put in, right? That's kind of YouTube version of that. Is that kind of how? Does that make sense?
Just easy to fake it. Like I don't ever try to hide it because someone asked me one time, they were like, what calls have you made? Like what gives you the qualification to say this is going to happen, this is not going to happen? And I had a couple, I had a few, but I was like, it's not like I called Bored Ape Yacht Club and I called Cool Cat and I called these major things, but I was like, dude, like for my whole channel, I don't do like calls. So I'm like, that's not even my forte. I'm not a flipper. That's not what I do. I don't call things I think are going to blow up tomorrow. I look at long term. I just not focus on that. And two, I was like, all my videos are research based. Like you could do my video if you did. You just have to Google a bunch of stuff and like pull up like pages and read them. Like that's all I'm doing. I'm just like reading out fucking information to you. Like you do that with what you're gonna do. Right. And people just constantly ask me, what do I think about this project? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like all these new projects, I'm like, yeah, maybe Moon. I don't fucking know. Like it depends on everything,
Right. And what and to me, like for instance, I didn't think about this until I educated myself. But the end of the year, a lot of projects tank because people are purposely short selling their NFTs to reduce their capital gains tax. I would have never thought about that unless I would have known and researched it and talked to people that had been through this part of the year. But I never have, and it just never occurred to me that would be a thing. But that totally makes sense now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I'm actually really glad that Asher is part of this because him coming from a background with, I say in quotes, traditional investing, right? Because there's just so many areas of investments. But, I think there are some things we're going to start seeing as more and more people move into crypto that are going to start mirroring traditional investments. And that is a very traditional investment thing, Mike, right? People utilize massive investment portfolios to manipulate for tax purposes, for all kinds of different things, which is a really smart way to retain your wealth. And you're going to see the same. Why wouldn't you see the same thing in crypto? You know what I mean? But it's just something you had to have that background in first. Does that make Asher translate? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the right track. Yeah, I mean, it's you could spin it a whole lot of ways, to be honest. But yeah, sorry, my brain was a little bit out of there. I was just saw a big message and I was just about to reply to it in the chat. But
no,
but,
it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense. But what you're saying, Cade, is and Matt I think the theme that we're trying to get here is you really don't know until you go through it. And I was what I wanted to bring up too is because I'm sure people. So I had charity NFT Jolly Elves, and I'm not the founder, but I know the guy, and I told him I'd help out as kind of like a core team, and I felt really good about it. And we minted, and I haven't looked at the numbers recently in the last couple hours, but I think we're close to 600, right? And we had 6,000. I was blown away that I thought we'd be able to sell out a lot more. And I think there's multitudes of things that go into that, right? And, part of me, and I was having a discussion with some of my other NFT buddies today, and part of me, I was like, man, like, I feel it sucks that we didn't sell out, and I feel bad about letting people down. But at the same time, I'm glad I did what I did because it was a huge learning experience for me, right? And it's better to do that and fail than to just sit there and say what could have happened,
Also, I'm really excited to get people to start changing the buzzwords from when moon, when this, when that, to instead be like, nah, moon. You know, I'd rather the project doesn't moon tomorrow, actually. I'd rather us just not promise anything 2 weeks after a launch. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Yep.
Because here's the problem with the NFT space right now. There's too many new people who don't understand the basics of actual traditional investing, which you were just talking about. That's important. You need to know certain things about just standard market shit, standard economics, supply and demand, marketing. You just have to understand the game a little bit. Otherwise, you're going in blindfolded. And that's just stupid. There's no reason to buy an NFT when you don't know what you're doing, when channels like and a conversation like this are existing. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. When we started, we had an excuse. There was nobody making videos, but now there are people talking about the right things. So if we can start getting the conversations from NFT projects and teams to speak to their supporters a little bit differently and not a condescending, we can't wait to deliver you this and make your whole life amazing and give you all this money. And it's like, no. What you're doing is you're investing in a startup fucking business, and we have no idea what we're doing, and nobody knows what we're doing. That's it. That's all we're doing. You like me? Great. We like us too. Let's just keep going. That should be the message here, right?
Dude, you nailed it, and I'll add to that, and then Matt and Asher, you can talk. But the other thing I would say is, on top of that, these are literally startups, and guess what the success rate of startups is? Not good. So when people expect to scattershot their money on all these startups, you're talking about 1% of those are actually going to do something. And when you go through the process yourself, you do realize like how freaking hard this really is.
For sure.
Absolutely. So Cade, would you say that the majority of the projects that you get behind are essentially on the secondary? Like, you don't generally, play with many sort of fresh mints, or what are your sort of thoughts there?
You're pretty much spot on. I've minted like projects it's been so long. One of them was High Rise NFT, just because I just believe in the Launchpad. I believe in fucking Elio. I mean, he's one of those things that he talked about, which was a low key. It wasn't low key, but it was low key enough to where I was like, yeah, most people are going to skip over this because one, it's an IMX. And here's the thing. Here's how I look at investing. For people who are going to try and copy my calls in the future, I am a collector. I am exclusively a collector almost. I don't really buy NFTs caring whether the portfolio goes up or down. Like, I bought Bungie simply because I like what Bungie is about. I like the artist, and I just like the art. It's cool. I'm going to put in my metaverse house. That's the way I look when I buy anything. So with High Rise, I was like, this is like the first time really buying a project. I'm like, this might be cool to have in a real life game, but I wasn't thinking about it in terms of floor. I just buy it and I say, this is my token, like in Chuck E. Cheese, right? I one day want to be the best Chuck E. Cheese player ever. To do that, I have to give you a lot of my money and practice in Chuck E. Cheese, or I'm never going to win, right? And that's how I look at NFT land. All my money that goes in, I'm like, that's not US dollars. That's Ethereum, and that's play money in this world.
Right. That makes total sense. Matt, any thoughts there?
No, I love it. It's funny because you said Chuck E. Cheese, and so Mike and I are a little bit older than most of the folks here. And so, we grew up just going to actual arcades. Like, that's what you did because we didn't have smartphones, and, we made tree forts and we went to arcades and played, we settled our arguments on the Mortal Kombat arcade machine and Super Street Fighter. But
absolutely.
We had a whole arcade area back there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and it's also it's interesting, the perspective when you said, most people have not gone through a bear market. One of the things I distinctly remember at a job, just grinded the normal. Again, Mikey said it, right? We did the thing. We went to school, got the education, get good grades, get a good job. We're in that, realm. And when 2008 hit and like the market really crashed and people got to see, oh, by the way, this is actually what a bear market looks like. And people forget, because there's a younger crowd. I think a lot of the NFT crowd really wasn't old enough to really know then what it was like. But that didn't just go away, right? I mean, people who started college when that happened graduated and it was still a crappy market. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's a really long time for a lot of people to understand, hey, it's not just going to go down and then all of a sudden you're going to buy low and then next year you're going to make millions, right? It's an effort, right? And then you have to be paying attention the whole time because, by the way, during that market, a lot of them just fall away, right? Businesses can't make it, and they're just going to go away and not survive.
They'll just kind of disappear.
You got it. Yeah, it is not. There's no fanfare. There's no news article. They just oh, whatever happened to that company? Oh yeah, I don't know. And then you find out, oh, they're gone. And so
I have like 20 NFTs like that.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how that works with this NFT space. And I think that your approach with, hey, I'm just going to collect these and enjoy them is a much safer way, just emotionally and mentally soundly, to do that.
Yes. That's exactly right. The emotionally part, it's the biggest thing for me when I started making YouTube videos and I realized, you know what? It's not making money from NFTs. I don't want to make NFT money anymore. I'm here to learn the NFT space. I'm going to make videos about NFTs. And that's when that thing clicked. I finally got out of the OpenSea, Nansen, Twitter, Discord circle that we all go around. And we just hang on them all 24/7, thinking we're going to find something crazy. And most of the time you're wasting your time. Right. And so it's an emotional savior. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And to your point, it can destroy you, right? Like you're sleeping, you're not sleeping, you're so anxious that you're missing out on the next thing. Like you gotta have the work. You have to have the balance. If you don't, you're not going to be able to excel at anything in your life.
Mm-hmm. So one question I have is, you were just talking about why people who are leaders in projects with NFTs need to be communicating a certain way to their community. So one thing that we're doing here on this channel is we've already lined up quite a few people who are actually exactly in that role to be doing a similar kind of Q&A session on our streams. What is a question you think would be a very poignant, directed question to ask people who are leaders of projects to try to get the response you were just talking about out of them? The right response.
I think. Ask that question one more time. More
sure.
Like yeah.
Sure. And as we talked a couple. It was about 15 minutes ago. You were talking about how leaders of these projects need to be communicating with their community in a way that is not about just hype, and then buy at this mint. And by the way, in 2 weeks later, we're going to have this. You were talking about there's got to be a longevity piece there, and they're not talking to the community about it, right? And what I'm saying is when we're talking to these people who are running their projects, or whether it's the artist or the founder or whoever's the direct, community manager, when we're talking to them, what's a good question you think would be worth asking them to try to kind of extract what you believe would be the right questions to ask from them? I don't know if I said that right the second time.
Yeah, I got it. The question that you should ask them is, come on my podcast. Really, just I'm going to recite Gary Vee. The answer is, come on my podcast and talk to me for half an hour, and we'll probably get to an answer there. I think that's the only way. If you ask them for an answer one time, they're going to give you some cookie cutter, quick 2-sentence answer,
I love that, man. I love that response. And that's why we like to do this and that's why I actually do a lot of interviews for work. And my favorite question of all time is, tell me, and how we started this is, tell me how you got to the seat you're sitting in today. And just learning about people and understanding and understanding why the way they are and why the way they think. Like, that's just fascinating to me. And I could do that all day long to every person on the planet and I'd be happy.
Great.
So I know we've been keeping you for a while, man, and you're a busy dude. We do like to open up the questions in chat. I think Asher's been writing some down, and then while we'll banter for a little bit more. But chat, if you have any questions for Cade, let us know. You can start typing them in chat.
Yeah, drop them in.
I think there's a couple questions. Do you have you have some more time, or do you have a hard stop?
I got time, dude. I made it the whole evening for you guys.
Oh,
dude, thank you so much. This is awesome.
You're incredible.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, let's have some questions populated. I have two on the top of my mind, and then Asher and Matt could actually. One, your get up and the story behind the glasses, the hat, it looks like a sombrero type thing going on. I'm not sure what it is. And then two, those you said something very clear, which I believe in too. So like projects that are running it like a business that have multi-year feasibility to be successful, Hate Beast being one of them. The only other one in the space I can think right now is Psychedelics Anonymous. I would love to hear any other thoughts on big projects like that you're interested in. So that's a two-part question. One, the get up, two, the the projects that you're interested in that actually think you have a long-term plan.
Okay. So the first part was about the hat and the glasses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The glasses came from a Halloween thing. I just bought a bunch of Halloween masks, and like the days leading up, I just wore a different one each day. And this one just happened to wear it a few times extra. People liked it. It did well for thumbnails. I thought it looked cool, and it was good because the reflection in the light, like this, makes me look weird or something. It just makes me look random, and people are like, "What the fuck?" And so I just ran with that. And so I used that for like everything. And so yeah, that worked out well. The only time I don't really wear them is if I'm gonna do a podcast with like Greg Norman. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take off my glasses because this is like,
and then how about that?
I feel like I would look silly. I have offered to like one time I didn't wear it. Actually, no, it was him. I went on. I didn't have them, and he was like, "What the fuck are your glasses?" And so maybe I will wear them.
He wanted to see them. That's awesome. I actually talk to Greg Norman Jr. on the phone often myself. He's a great dude. Great dude.
He's such an awesome guy.
What about the hat setup then?
Setup. So this will be more like personal than you probably were thinking. During my trip, it was a bunch of soul searching was the main point of this trip, to get comfortable with myself, to be comfortable getting alone and stuff like that. That whole soul finding yourself journey.
Yeah.
And there was a point in that time where I was talking to maybe 2 people a month in real life. They're just cashiers typically at like Walmart, and I wasn't speaking to anyone really. So it was a really weird time where like I didn't see any human beings for a long, long time, and get anxiety when I walked into Walmart or hotels to like steal coffee or like do random shit. I would get anxiety walking into these places because there's humans. And I was like, this is so weird, because my whole life I've been so easy. I mean, I have like horrible social anxiety, but I'm able to put it away when I need to speak to people.
Right.
But for some reason I walk into Walmart and I feel very uncomfortable and like whatever, maybe it was COVID related. And so I started wearing hats and beanies, or I wear AirPods, or I wear sunglasses. And I started to like need something on my head to feel comfortable, kind of like a helmet. You know how people wear helmets?
Right.
And so now like my whole setup is perfect, because like with podcasting, I always have to have headphones on.
Right.
Like honestly, for me, I don't, because I have a video mic. So technically I'm just pretending and I'm just listening to lo-fi music.
Right.
But yeah, it's like there's something on my head. And also, this is great because as my brand grows and people start to associate this look with me, I'm going to start wearing clothes that maybe have my brand, or if I'm working with partner projects, wear some of their clothes. Maybe I'll have a Joyage hat that I start wearing every Friday, and people who start to notice it might start chirping. And then maybe I'll do like some stealth drops of maybe 5 hats like available on like my first Twitter post of the day, or like whatever, just like random things like that. But it kind of sets me up for the future. And so I kind of thought about that from like a marketing standpoint.
Dude, every answer you have is just on point. I really, really love it.
And then what was the second part of the question? That was like what projects, right?
Yeah. So like to me, really only 2 sit in my mind is obviously Hate Beast and Psychedelics Anonymous. Are there any other those types of projects?
For new projects?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like parabolic success that we're probably going to see here from both projects, or at least initial?
So I don't even care about, to your point, I think you made a very good point. Like, I don't care what the floor is 2 weeks after. I'm talking about projects I believe in, have the right team in place that are going to do it right for the long term. And, who should I be looking and thinking about?
Yeah, none. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it. And that could be that absolutely probably is the right answer. I think,
or at least I haven't seen it.
I think Voltura and his team can do something very special. They have huge.
I did hear about that.
Yes. So to look up Psychedelics Anonymous, we're actually going to have one of the co-community managers on our stream later this week. So definitely tune in to hear more about that project. But Voltura is running.
We tune in.
But what's up?
So I'll be tuning in.
Yeah.
I'll listen.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, he's running it like a business, has a business, has put a lot of money into all of the marketing and the legal up front before he even dropped a hint that he was going to do something. I think he did it appropriately too. He talked 6 to 8 months. He just watched the NFT market, even though he was experienced in crypto before, just to make sure when he dropped his project, he thought it was the right time. So I think he's really doing it. He's got a big team. And I think that, like you said, those are the things that we need to be interested in for the future, to have the events where your NFT actually means something, because it's going to let you golf on a golf course or whatever it may be, right? Like those are the projects that are going to give you that access. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and look, that's how I'm running my YouTube channel in a sense. Like I'm doing practice by introducing a DAO for my YouTube channel. Like at some point when I start making YouTuber money, 35% or whatever ends up being will go into like a literal community fund where we go, okay, what are we doing? Is it going to be for like fun YouTube videos? We're going to like use it for like plane tickets to fly out people. Like, what are we going to do with this money? And I want to start implementing those ideas early, because in my NFT project, I'm taking lots of notes right now. I've already started the lore. I'm a huge, like, I love writing and I love games. I love Pokemon. I love like Zelda, games like that. So I have a mix of different things, but it's got like 6,000 little other things that I've never seen anything remotely close to. And honestly, at the point I make it, it'll probably be like the norm. But like in my head, I've got all these crazy ideas. I've got all these different things and information from projects that I've watched, that I've had the pleasure of being able to just watch them fail or succeed in certain things. And now I can take notes and say, here's what I'm going to do in the future. And so some projects that are not new, but I want to just drop these because I think these are healthy projects to look at least to just keep an eye on and maybe look at for a little bit of, not like a role model because none of us know what's going to happen, but maybe doing things a little bit better than projects I've seen. I'm looking at Supducks. Obviously, I just joined with them. I wouldn't have joined with them if I didn't think they were going to be sweet. And so Supducks is one, Doge Pound's another, and Ugaverse is a little bit newer of a project, but I'm on their team, and I would have said something by now if they were screwing something up. So I think they're doing a really good job there. I work with their marketing stuff, and I'm in charge of one of their alpha channels. And so their project is doing things right. They're just really early compared to like Doge Pounds or something like that. And then besides that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, besides that, a couple of the smaller projects that are just very, very, like, I think undervalued because they've been working on long-term visions, because I've been watching them since May, is Evaverse and Colony Online, which is so funny because I bought them so early, yet I still believe that they will do great things. And I think they did things right. I just think they were literally too early. I think Evaverse, if they had launched now, would have done exponentially better. So that it sucks for me, or it sucks for them, I guess. But in the long run, I'm actually okay because they're so cheap right now. And it's literally a steal. But those are all complete guesses. You know, I have no idea whether any of those projects are going to be. I'm just saying they're doing a bunch of the fundamental things right. And if they end up continuing all that, there's no reason they shouldn't be better in a few years.
Right. Awesome. So, dude, this has been so much fun. So I have a couple questions that I've written down. Asher, Matt, have you written any down? If not, I can ask mine from the audience.
Yes,
I actually just really quick want to say big thank you, by the way, Toasty. I see those gifted subs that you're doing. I really appreciate it. And Crypto Art, thank you so much for those 10 gifted subs. Really appreciate that too. I didn't want to go too long without getting a chance to just thank the crowd that's all hyped right now. We are close to a hype train, and we just appreciate it.
Yeah,
that was all I wanted to say.
And so, Cade, to save you the noise in your ear. So every time someone subs or follows, we had this whole term, it's crunch time, because we used to play video games and we would kill big mobs of enemies, right? And one of our gifts was, hey, it's about to be crunch time. And I don't know, I just got crazy with my wife one day and I decided to go, it's crunch time. And I recorded that, and that plays every time we get a sub or a follow. So I just saved everybody from hearing that about 35 times. But we freaking love you all. Let's go. Thank you so much. You all are the best.
And I wanted to say real quick that you guys are killing it as far as your own everything. Like, people fuck with you guys. I've had so many people reach out and be like, dude, fuck yeah, you're going on a podcast with these guys. Like, these guys are cool. They're dope. And that's like a great sign that people are saying that about you guys, like behind your backs, kind of, you know?
Dude, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Asher, did you have anything to say, or do you have any questions written down?
Yeah, all those people that were saying, we're awesome, they were just all my alt accounts. But I mean, sort of blow this up. No, I mean, there's a comment or a question here, which is, what's one thing you would like to see in the meta marketplace, blockchains, integration of games, etc.?
I want to see in NFT gaming and projects right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them spending more time getting people to fall in love with the gameplay, because what I'm seeing a lot in games is that, okay, guys, we have tier 1 coming next week and tier 2 next week. And I'm sitting there like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, what? I don't care. And I'm like, that's not good. That should not be my reaction. My reaction should be like, oh my God, let me get on the game. Like, let me download the game. And that's, honestly, I don't see a single game, not a single one doing that right now for me. All the NFT games that are big right now, they still suck. They're just not good enough. And they're not doing remotely close to the amount of brain work they need to be doing. Star Atlas will go to 0 if they don't do enough brain work. If you don't get people really fucking with them and not just them being that big project that blew up last year, it's not going to be enough. They're going to fizzle out. Right.
And they're going to make a lot of money in a quick time, but it's going to turn into nothing, right? What's the Pokemon one that people love? Why can I not think of it? Pixies, Axie Infinity. What's the deal there? Do you have any thoughts there? I feel like it keeps on going when I thought it wasn't going to last long.
I mean, it's like the head runner. I mean, there's a couple of projects up there that are going to do well when the market's doing well, just like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes just kind of dictate everything. Like whatever Bored Apes is doing, I guess we'll all kind of just follow them or something. It's just like, the fuck, And so I think it's one of those things. They're just the big name until someone knocks them off, and that'll happen. It could happen overnight, kind of thing. Like that. It happens in this world.
Right.
Yeah, it's obviously just very hard when you've got people like Post Malone who are buying them, and it's very, very hard to outweigh the amount of influences that can get behind something. And I want to own something that Post Malone owns. You know what I mean? And I mean that's the real tough thing. Like, I mean, I think it's for people starting out. That's the end goal, like what it was, I want to be, self-employed and I want to own batches here, there and everywhere. The new thing is I want a Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's the dream goal. I mean, I think it is very, very hard to dethrone a king, but I mean, it can be done. I mean, you just got to, it just has to be done in a very sort of...
Look at CryptoPunks, dude. CryptoPunks is about to get flipped.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's like, we never thought that would happen. And like 6 months ago, we were like, nah. Now we're like, you know what? That's going to happen like in a week.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
It's going to happen. It's going to be a slow burn, but it can easily happen.
Absolutely.
Well,
and it could also be something quick. It could be Hate Beast coming in and saying, fuck you, all of you. I'm going to take over right now. And they could just hold it. Kaiju did that for like a week. They took over and held that throne like in like the top 5 for like a long time. And I was like, dang. Or I think it was Kaiju. And I was like, that it can happen, And if they do enough work, Kaiju didn't do enough work from their brand side. I don't really want to hold a random dinosaur as my profile picture. I don't think that's that cool. I think they could have done more work on the brand side. They would have been able to hold on to it. In the same way, Bored Apes, when I look at that, I'm like, absolutely, I want to rock that. I could do that in a real world. I could get in a suit that looks like that and want to do that. And that's another thing that Hate Beast does well. Like, yeah, that'll work, bro. That art on Hate Beast, that'll work. And some projects just don't have that simple thing that matters a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, and to add on that real quick, if I see the same project doing all of the same attributes, right? It's just crazy to see how there's so much copy and paste with that stuff.
I'm telling you, imitation doesn't work. Innovation. You got to innovate, can't imitate.
We have a lot of conversations.
I say it every week.
Like Wolf Game, Fox Game. I'm like, dog, there's like 14 games. Obviously, none of them. Maybe the first one. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what a short game. I'm like, dude, no, man.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get wrong, though. I mean, for imitation, there is still like money to be made and investing in it. And
there's money to be made.
Stupid, right? But we talk a lot about imitation versus innovation,
But the game there, though, Mike, is what they're selling is novelty, and there's a difference, right? Novelty, the game idea was, Wolf Game, that's a novelty idea, but it's neat, right? But that's about the greatest adjective you're going to get out of that. Oh, that was cool. And then it moves on, right? It's gone. And one of the things going back to why I think, and Mikey, you always stress this, and Cade, when you said it, it totally just resonated, is that the power of the team behind a project is massive, because I do agree that could happen overnight. I think what could happen is we could get Valheimed, right? where this like no-name project out of nowhere comes up with a crew of like, what was that crew that made Valheim, Mike? It was, like 30 people created this game that just blew up out of nowhere, and everybody wanted to do it and play this game, and it made all of this money. But the problem though was the team couldn't actually support it. They were like, holy crap, we weren't ready for this. And then now it's gone, right? And so it's almost like you have to have a team ready. Again, going back to Greg Norman Jr., when you have that level of person with a project, they can handle success. And that's a critical component here, because this world moves so quickly, it's almost like, are you ready for the success that you're ready to implement, or that you're trying to implement?
Let me jump in here, because that's a huge point, and that's like the best transition, because something that can save your ass if you're a team, and even if you get in over your head for a moment, is if you, like, let's take Pokemon for example. Okay, we'll take Pokemon and Wolf Game. Wolf Game just blew up. I'm sure everyone who's in the chat has heard of Wolf Game or Fox Game, whatever those games are. Pixelated little fun little things where you run around and do whatever, right? And Pokemon works, even if their team wasn't that good and needed a year to learn how to do it. Pokemon had a TV show. Pokemon had movies. Pokemon had basically NFTs, like they had all these different Pokemon, right? And so people got invested in the show, the idea, the lore, the artwork, every single thing associated with Pokemon, the lessons that were taught in every single episode. These are things that I'm looking at, and I'm literally going to copy word for word, not the storyline, but like I'm going to copy the way they did it, because it will work. There's no world in a reality where I don't make a TV show like that and an animation that goes to the game that goes to this and that, and I don't take off. Right. It's not possible. It won't happen. And so for projects that want to get out of it and kind of lighten the load on people constantly asking, when's the game? When's this? When's that? You can have a simple, easy TV show on YouTube. Subducks is doing that. I think Dogecoin is doing that. Maybe one of their projects is doing that. You can save your ass from, especially all the new people who don't understand, and say, here's something to bite on. Here's something to chew on. We got an episode next week. We got a podcast with this guy. That can save you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Great point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always looked at the Subducks, and I've always sort of looked in. I mean, it's one I'm like right on the edge of my seat on jumping in. Like, I mean, I've got like a few friends in there. I mean, like Eddie is Kongs, I think is absolutely like an amazing person for the space. And yeah, I mean, all you hear is good stuff. And I mean, like, obviously Frankie and the team, and I mean, I just watched your YouTube vid on the founder of it, and yeah, I mean, I just know that if I don't jump on it soon, I just know that I'm going to miss it, and it's just going to zoom. So I mean, I really don't want to be caught, with my hands where they shouldn't be. But yeah, no, the ducks, they are.
Right now, if you wait, it's okay though. Okay, if you don't get to a project right now, I think it's very okay, especially if you're going long term. I say, honestly, if you're not ready to buy the project, just wait till the market crashes. You can wait. It's going to be I don't know how long, like a few months or like next month. I have no idea when it's going to be. But if it crashes and you still got your idea on that, just for anyone new investing, remember that just because the market crashed and the price went from 6 Ethereum to 1, doesn't mean that the project sucks. This is something I talk about in all my videos. Floor price is just what the person who needs to sell really badly at that moment is willing to sell that NFT for. Chances are they're a noob, and you're gonna screw yourself by looking at the floor price and thinking the project's dead and everyone's out. Because as soon as you sell, that shit is going straight back up every time. It happens like clockwork.
Yep. And it's any investment, right? We've watched real estate do this. Real estate does this every 7 years. Does your house suddenly change because the market changed? No, it's the same asset, but you can have $100,000 swing simply because people are ready to buy or ready to sell. Yeah, 100%.
And I will add one of the more entertaining comments I've read through our chat is, if Asher had a healthy glass of scotch, you'd be legit official right now.
Dude, you look like Lex Fridman. You look exactly like Lex Fridman.
I don't know who that is. Is that a compliment? Is that
who that is? Yes, he's like one of the greatest podcasters ever.
There we go. Of course, that's actually me, Lex. No.
Do we have any other questions, Asher?
I mean, I've got a question. Sorry, Chad, I'm just cutting you off. I'm just completely stealing the limelight. I mean, now in terms of, obviously you're touching on a lot of ETH projects. Do you touch any other chain? Like, are you in Sol? Are you in AVAX? Are you in Poly? Any of these others?
Great question. Yeah, I'm in AVAX barely. I need to get in more. The thing is, like before, right now, exactly. Or I don't know what I'm saying. I'm playing around in IMX. I'm playing around in SoulSea. I actually have a. I don't think I actually have to say that. I'm doing something with SoulSea soon, and so I'm talking to them a little bit and trying to dabble. The problem is there's just not enough volume, and it's just kind of irrelevant still. Like IMX is not relevant, to be totally honest. It's not relevant right now. It will be, I think, in however long. It could be next week, like literally could be next week. And so I just want to know a little bit about IMX. I want to see, okay, hey, I didn't know that the funds take 48 hours to transfer. Like that's something good to know, you know? Oh, right. If you put your money in the withdrawal section, you have to like actually withdraw it, or you can't do anything with it. You can't send it back. And there's all these little bugs that happen on the new projects, the new platforms that you wouldn't know unless you were there and you did it. So for people who are in NFT gaming projects, I say you got to probably play that game or play the beta or at least watch the gameplay instead of just hearing Alex Becker say it's good and just going off that, because that's stupid. Because Alex Becker's got $1 billion in his bank account and he doesn't care if he loses all the NFT money. It doesn't matter to him.
Right.
So yeah,
that's a great point. Any soul questions, Soul Asher?
No, I mean, with SoulSea, I was just going to say that it like the SoulSea marketplace is cool. I just don't buy anything collectible. I don't buy anything like on OpenSea that I would buy. I only buy NFT art. I buy every single NFT I have on OpenSea is NFT art, and they're long-term holds. None of them for sale. I just do NFT art there because honestly, all the SoulSea projects that I've seen are collectibles. 95% of them are just copycats of the OpenSea, and I just don't have any interest in those.
Interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. Because there are
what I've seen.
We actually bought Soul projects to start off with. So one of the things we do on our stream is we've kind of got this new formula where we have AMAs like this. We'll run marbles and give some whitelist away or free NFT. But then the other section is we have a crypto vault, and we just make mistakes and make decisions to try to buy cool NFTs and profit some money, and all of those profits then go to a bank where we get to fly our viewers out in real life to either a TwitchCon or an NFT conference. And we started
dope, dude. I love that.
You like that idea?
Yeah, but when you said, Cade, when you said that that's what you wanted to do, I was like, oh, we're gonna get along.
And we should partner.
Yeah, that's how you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, we're the three of us, and I know why. Once I DM'd you through Twitter, I was like, we're totally gonna vibe. Is we've got the same, I think, the same thought process. We preach this again: just be kind, pay it forward. It'll all come out in the end. If you're worried about cash grabs, making a ton of money, you're just gonna get burned sooner than later. You know.
%. And with what you said about starting on SoulSea, I have no hate against SoulSea projects. Just me personally, as a collector, just don't have any interest in most of the projects I've seen. And I also haven't spent that much time. I probably haven't seen some of the good projects because more than likely I was turned off at the beginning. There were so many copycats that I just said, okay, I guess all SoulSea projects are copycats. And so that's probably my mistake and probably a blind spot. But at the moment, I'm trying to spend more time on SoulSea and definitely looking to do something about that soon, coming up like in the next a week or two. I don't know how much I can talk about that or if I can talk about that. So hopefully I don't get in trouble.
We won't get into trouble. We don't have to talk about it.
I think your exposure on SoulSea, not being able to sort of see the market, is probably, I don't want to shoot the deal in the foot, but I mean, it's probably because you're on SoulSea. I mean, in terms of obviously all the other marketplaces on Solana have a lot more vast, just a lot more collections. Whereas SoulSea is, I mean, it could, I mean, maybe you could definitely pump it up, so it could definitely be, you know, one of the main traded. But I mean, in terms of that, I mean, your sort of staples, your Magic Eden and things like that. And I think, you know, and sort of coming back to the influencer thing, I think I almost feel like each platform brings a lot of people when they do get influencers on. Like, I mean, you know, obviously Ethereum's got, you know, your whatever, your Post Malone's, X, Y, and Z, and then, you know, your Solana's got, you know, KSI, you've got Steve Harvey, you've got a few others, but it brings a lot more people to the scene. So, you know, when that does eventually happen for, you know, AVAX or Poly or whatnot, I mean, I think, you know, a lot more people will adapt those blockchains anyway.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for someone to say AVAX a couple extra times, and then I'm going to jump in. I'm just waiting for Elio to say AVAX one too many times, and I'm going to be like, okay, now it's time to go in. Because he's literally right every single, like all these dudes online, I shit on them because they make calls all the time. But the thing is, for the big guys, they're usually right in the long term. I still think it's dumb to just listen to whatever they say, but they are historically fucking smart. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and the amount of followings they can sort of dictate that. Like I've got friends, you know, in my alpha chats or whatnot, and they literally just follow they're like, if I can get to Alex Becker's videos within the first 10 minutes, and I get on his conservative calls, and then when everyone else sees it over the few hours after that or whatnot, and they're making very, very good money because they're literally just basically just riding on the hype that these influencers have on crypto, which is
hard. If you just listened to him and wrote it in your notes and bought it later, you're in dubs. What's his name? Elio talked about Super Farm and Alex talked about D-Race, and I waited and I got in at D-Race like under $1. I was like, this is how you buy D-Race. You don't buy it when he's talking at $4 or whatever it was at. Right, I just make a note. I literally have a notepad of projects that I'm like ready to buy as soon as I just see them hit a certain number. That's how you do it, man. You don't buy anything right after they say. It'll always have an artificial pump.
Yep.
Agree there.
Unless you're early to the pump, then get on that quick pump.
If you're early and you can get out before the peak, then yeah, but the chances of that happening are pretty much hard. They're just hard.
That comes down to who you know, which is the name of the game.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Matt and I talk about this all the time, and we talk to Zasher too. The best thing college did for me was get me my first corporate job, and then after that, it's all about who I networked with, and that really is such a tired saying, but so true. Networking is the key to life.
Oh,
the biggest thing you can do in the NFT space right now: learn, pay to play, and fucking talk to people that you don't think change your mindset about something or introduce you to someone. Those are the people that always come out that you're like, whoa, what just happened? Like, this guy? And they're like, oh, dude, yeah, like I can totally hook you up. And like, I've gotten multiple interviews with founders of projects from someone in my Discord going, oh, dude, I know the guy. I'll just text him. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
And that brings up a really interesting point that I thought about too, is like, I'm firmly convinced the four of us in 5 years from now are going to be in conversations of like, pioneers, personalities, whatever you want to call that, whatever they're going to describe us as. But what's cool about in this time, because it's so new, no one has an ego about themselves, and everyone just wants, there are some people, but I would say the majority of this space, they just want to share and hang out and have fun together, And it's so cool to be in a new space like that, where it's so easy to get access to all of these founders and people that are just excited to share knowledge. We immediately started talking, and it was, 4 days later, we're on our Twitch stream talking about life and happiness and all the awesome things that go along with it.
Yeah, dude. I tweeted I didn't talk about Tom Bilyeu, did I? About me tweeting him?
Not about you tweeting him. You mentioned him when you were talking about Gary Vee, and those are two of my favorite people to be listening to. So what happened? You tweeted him? What happened?
So I the other day I tweeted biopills, right? And so I was just like, hey, like would love to interview, just like as a joke almost. And they responded within 30 seconds that, okay, let's do the podcast. And I was like, holy shit. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna roll the dice on my number one dude in the whole world who saved my life on this trip when I was like dying of like depression. And then I like listened to his podcast, and he literally pulled me out of the trenches with like his consistency and mindset stuff. And so I attribute literally everything. Gary's the man, but Tom Bilyeu for me, like on an emotional level at least, is my like actual hero. He's my number one dude. One of my biggest things I want to do is be on his show in Impact Theory Live, like on an actual set. That's like my biggest dream ever. And so the first step is to make some kind of contact with him. And I've tweeted him before, but this time I was like, I can do this. And this is where I'm going to talk about manifestation a little bit. Manifestation is 100% real, because everything I manifested in the last 3 months has come true literally to a T. And that was after 8 months of writing it and seeing it everywhere and doing things toward it. It's real. And so I manifested it. I tweeted Tom and I said, dude, he wrote this thing about his project. He was like, hey, like I want to own this mistake thing. And I responded, and I was like, dude, I don't actually care at all. I'm just here because I wanted to invest in you and the brand. I'm a big fan. You saved my life. Thank you so much. I'm here for life, or something like that. And he responded within a minute, and he said something like that's crazy. Like these are the stories that keep me going. And I literally froze. I was like, did he just directly tweet me back and sent a response? And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I didn't say that. I just said something like, I can't wait to pick up a Legendary Pill, which is like his, or Legendary Key, which is like his big NFT. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then like 10 minutes later, I come back, check my phone. He tweeted me again, and it was like, can't wait for you to join the team or whatever. I was like, holy shit. I just talked to my actual hero directly. This isn't some random. I was like, this is crazy. And so now I'm thinking, damn, I probably should have asked him if he wanted to come on my podcast to talk about the NFT. That would have been way smarter.
Nah,
I'm gonna do that right after this, actually.
There'll be another chance. There'll be another chance.
True. You're right.
All right.
Abundant.
So
That
I was
is amazing.
thinking, I think we have about one more question, and then we have a closing question, the three of us, that we always ask the personalities that we have on. So I can't wait to ask you that one. But one more audience question. Aster, do you have one to ask? Because then we got to run some marbles and give some free NFTs away.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a question, but I mean, Tacos of Friends has said, Cade reminds me of a young Dr. Disrespect, which is a huge compliment.
Love that guy.
And, yeah, I mean, absolute legend on the old streaming space anyway. No other questions.
I love that. Thank you.
So
yeah, I mean, it's absolutely Purple Dinosaur comes back to it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's a huge compliment. And I had one, so you've mentioned a couple times, and we can use this as the final kind of question because I saw a couple people mention it. You talked about this whole kind of, did you call it Joya brand, or just this kind of Joyage brand that you're kind of building as like this whole ecosystem? Where did that come about? Was that on your journey, or is this something that you've been building once you got into the NFT space? I'm just interested in the Joyage that you've mentioned a couple times.
My favorite question ever, because that's my mission. That's my mission statement. That's my thing. That's my vision. My everything comes from that. My whole life has been stemmed from a place of insecurity, a place of not feeling heard by parents, teachers. Like everyone talks down on you when you're a kid, you know. And I internalized that really hard because even kids my age would do that to me. I was walked all over. I was that classic kid who like does everything and then gets friend zoned. Like that's the type of kid I was growing up. And so I transferred schools. I was like, you know, I'm determined to make a new name for myself. I started getting into like fitness. I got like yoked and I did like bodybuilding for a long time. And I became like the dude. I was like a jock in the school, but I felt like I didn't feel like a jock. I felt like a fucking little scared kid. And so, you know, that's obvious now to me that I was just trying to cover up and be a man or whatever. So
yeah, fix the outside, not the inside. Been there.
Right, precisely. Yeah. And so a few years later, when I was 22, I was like, okay, I need to figure out who I am a little bit. I'm kind of like not doing as much as I thought I was. And, you know, everyone writes this little story about themselves where they're like, you know, if I had just done that one thing, then I would be living my dream life, but I didn't. And that's like, you know, and you write this little story for yourself about like why you can't do it maybe, or why you'll do it next year. And finally, after watching like Gary Vee and all of them, there's just try one. And so I made a YouTube video with my iPhone. You could find it on this YouTube channel. There's actually a couple iPhone videos that are fucking fire. There's one called 5 Minutes for the Rest of Your Life, and it's like still to this day will give me chills if I watch it because I just like vented to the camera for 5 minutes, and it was just really powerful for me. And so Joyage came because I needed a word that would work, that was something to do with journey, voyage, and joy, happiness, gratitude. So that was the word. I just combined joy with voyage. That happened there. I needed a photography website. I just called it Joyage. Started saying Joyage, like hearing it, saying it, manifesting it. I started a podcast, and I was like, I'm just going to use this to vent. That turned into this thing where I started interviewing friends to get better because I was like, I like this. And so Joyage Podcast became a thing. And then I started making like a TikTok account, Joyage Podcast. And like I started saying Joyage a lot. And then my YouTube channel, I was like, okay, we'll just use the intro for my normal videos. So I started seeing Joyage everywhere, and the brand started to become something else, to like going after your dreams, to doing things a little bit differently, to basically the second you stop listening to people, literally the next day your life changes, like that kind of thing. But you have to actually take that leap. And so my brand is about that leap and doing it. And so I talk to people and I tell stories, and I try and talk to people who have done a similar leap like that, and try and get people to be like, dude, I could literally do that because that's literally me and it's not that complicated and you're just a dude. And so I want to get that out. And so Joyage turned into that. And so now I got really into lore and writing because I started my book. I just talk about this crazy realization that I've had on this trip. And I was like, dude, Joyage Kingdom, that's fucking it. The Joyage Kingdom is going to be crazy. Like I have the craziest ideas. So now it's just like, it's my everything, like my Twitter handle, or everything basically is Cade / like Joyage Kingdom, because I want to start manifesting that now, getting people to, as soon as they see me and my name, they instantly think Joyage. And so in 5 years, when I say Joyage NFT project stealth drop, no one's going to know where it is, when it is, any of the details. It's going to be one of those things like a witch hunt, not as crazy as Neo Tokyo, but I want to do fun things like that where it's not just about crowds getting in. You know, I've seen everything. I've seen all the projects suck and all the projects that did well. And I'm taking little things and I'm just going to take all of them and apply them. And that's really the whole Joyage brand, man.
Dude, Well, I'll tell you right now, you've got a Twitch stream to drop those hints for the rest of your life, brother. This has been amazing. Amazing. Asher, Matt, do you have any other comments?
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Dude, you were speaking of iPhone videos. Can you still remember that countdown timer when you were waiting for that job and then you just rolled out and you were like, is this what it feels like? Is this what the Joyage feels like? And you were a little apprehensive about it. You were kind of in that moment. Yeah. That was one of the most real videos I saw.
That video, I have goosebumps right now. You saying that?
Right.
I have not actually watched that video back since I posted it because it was so emotionally charged. I've never cursed that many times in a video in my whole life. My grandparents were horrified, and I just remember making that video, and I knew I had to. I knew where I was going to be in 10 years, so I knew I had to do this, but it still was so uncomfortable, and I remember counting down and thinking, I really have to do this now.
Just thank you for documenting it. I really appreciate that because there's so many people who, man, there's always a battle to fight. And it's like that being trapped in where you are is so hard to escape. And I know Mikey knows what I'm talking about. Asher, I'm absolutely sure you can relate. But man, there are just moments in life. And the fact that you had the courage to take a stand for you, man, more people need to see that because there's too many movies that make it sound like, you know, the skies will open up and the sun will beam on your face when this happens. And that is not how it feels in the moment. And I'm just really glad you captured it because it was real. It was awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that.
I really appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that.
I got chills thinking about it. And to add on to what Matt says, not only does the sky not open and shine on you, it then repeatedly kicks you in the face 100 times after that, and you continue to have to get back up and keep on going, right?
Absolutely.
But the thing is, and what you said, man, and what I think all of us resonate, and it really does start when you have conversations setting, and I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, but setting yourself apart in a mindset of, we know it's going to happen. We know the right way to be thinking about things going forward. And when you have that aha moment, it's just such a game changer, right? It's such a game changer. We talk about all the time, like in my mind already, it's not whether or not I'm going to be successful. It's just how long is it going to take me to get there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and the sky doesn't open up physically, but it opens up in your head. The second you realize what actually can happen, you go, damn, bro, I actually maybe can have a shot at doing that. Like that video I made about Ugaverse, I made it, I posted it, didn't think anything of it, 75 views, and I got a full-time job. Like that's the shit that can happen. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, I've seen it all. Anything can happen, you know?
Yeah.
Love it.
And
Logan Paul. No, hold on. Logan Paul and Jake Paul boxing, Floyd Mayweather, and these like elite famous people. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And the thing is, I don't even care really about Jake. I mean, I like Logan now with his podcast, but like, I don't really give a shit about that. It's like the idea that they're like, bro, do fucking whatever, because it literally can work with social media. You can just tweet someone tomorrow and something crazy can happen, you know? So it's just like, why not take that chance? Like, fuck it. We're young. Like a lot of us are super young, especially in this space.
And you said one more thing, and then I'll shut up. But I think there's another very solid point there. And when it happened for me too, as I went through some crazy health issues, and to the point where I really was like blacking out days. I didn't know what was going on. I was going through some issues, and I had a job interview, and I got the job. And I really don't remember the interview much. And I looked back and I was like, if I can do that, I literally can do anything I want. And that when you have a moment like that of clarity of like, bro, I can be here and still somehow survive. Now that I'm surviving and getting stronger every day, who the hell knows where we're going to do? People say go to the moon. I'm saying screw the moon. Let's get to Jupiter, bro. Let's get to Jupiter.
Fuck yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. But yes, Matt or Asher, you want to ask our fun final favorite question?
I think Ash had something too, right?
Oh yeah,
Asher, it's all you.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, you mentioned Jupiter when you're friends with Greg Norman, but you know, whatever. I mean, that's fine.
For a plug, no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of question was, I mean, obviously, sort of with our sort of final last question is, now, Cade, who is someone in the the NFT world that you think that the three of us should interview, and who's sort of making some pretty big plays in the space?
Question. What are you looking into specific projects like gaming or PFPs? Like, is there a specific one you guys looking at?
No, mate. We've started with Kook's Tacos, which I mean, I feel like the third person's going to have something, taco related. I mean, we've gone from taco to sombrero. Might be a salsa dancer next. So I mean, if you know any, but. No, basically anyone in the entire scene, and I mean, if you know them personally, then even cooler, because I mean, it's sort of, it's basically just all who you know. So I mean, we go from here to there to, who knows, and then obviously, the context that we find as well, and we can, if it's, hey, we can get you on, any of these podcasts, and we somehow, cross bridges with these people. I mean, we'd love to obviously, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. I mean, it's just a lovely space to be in.
Yeah, someone. I just interviewed the Coin Games CEO, which is an NFT gaming project that I think will do pretty well long term, or at least I think they have what it takes to make it happen. And so I just interviewed Tim. He's the CEO and founder. He speaks very well. He's very good at what he does. He knows a lot of things, and he's very just in him. When I was talking to him, a mental note that popped up in my head was, if I ever make a video game, I want to partner with Coin Games, because the way he talked and his mentality was exactly mine. And I think we got to see more of that kind of conversation. And I think he'd be totally down. I could probably set that up for you guys.
Awesome. You are amazing.
Cool,
and not just, I don't think we're asking like, hey man, can you set something up with us? We're really interested in just people that are interesting to you that might make sense for us to reach out to, or, immediately pop to the top of your head. So it sounds like this Coin Game did too, and Kook immediately went like, it could be anyone. Kook actually recommended, he's like, dude, my best buddy, who's now my community manager, I got him into NFTs, and he's just a fun person to talk to, so anybody like that is what we're looking for.
I think Timothy is great. He's going to be a great thing for everything, especially mindset and actually understanding fundamentals about functionality inside ecosystems, which is the big projects now, like Bioverse, like where they're introducing 57 different utilities for each thing that all function in this little thing, and like Wolf Game and these projects that are trying to do something new. I think he actually has a really good, broad understanding there. And, I think I've seen him on a few different podcasts. I think he'd be down to probably talk. And so him, me, I'm down to come back on. I think you guys are freaking awesome, and you guys are talking about the right stuff. And so I'm totally down to come back on. And I'd actually like to also hop in on that giveaway. I'll probably give away one of my Colony Online NFTs, because I've got a few, and I've got a custom one sort of that has like the glasses literally. I don't know how that happened, but I bought that one, and so I'm good. I just wanted one just to be part of the project, but I'll give away, I think I have a couple more, so I'll give away one of those.
Dude, sweet, that's amazing. Dude,
look out.
Fantastic. And I mean, you're more than...
I think I got I don't know which ones I have.
Let's freaking go. You are a legend. I mean, you're more than welcome if you have more time.
Chat is loving that.
You can...
I'm going to pop into my OpenSea real quick, make sure I have it in the right wallet so I don't have to grab my ledger or something. Wait, everyone get a ledger. If you guys are in the chat right now and you don't have a ledger, you better start typing on Amazon real quick and get yourself one.
Yeah, well, trust me. A week fresh from me, I got all my NFT scams, a sweet 8K out of my wallet. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Dude, I went to OpenSea and I went to their help channel, and I'm like, oh yeah, somebody that DMs me with an OpenSea badge is totally legit. And then I logged into a website, and that was that.
No.
But you learn, you win some, you lose some, and I definitely lost that one. But dude, that is beyond grateful that you're willing to do that, man. We really, really appreciate that.
Man.
Quick question.
Yeah, I think that project's really cool.
I don't have a ledger yet, as we're talking about it. I know I need one. Asher's smashing his forehead. Do you have to pay gas to get it onto your ledger, or you just download it? Like, how does that interaction work?
It's just like sending money over. It stinks, but yeah. I did it. I think I did mine individually. I don't think there's I'm not sure what the difference is if you try and batch it all together. But I just did them singles. I only transferred probably like 20 because those are the 20 that I was like, I really don't want to lose these if my wallet gets hacked. So some of them I kept on a couple. I mean, I have like multiple accounts just to like be safe, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
And there's a quote, there's a comment in chat, and I've actually heard this, and let me know if you guys have heard the same. A lot of people are saying don't buy one on Amazon, especially from secondhand sellers, because they're scams.
Yeah.
And to go directly to the website and buy it from the manufacturer.
Smart. I meant to say
smart.
as Rex said. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
The whole chat is like, do not buy it from Amazon. So we do have that disclaimer. We do not want to send people in the wrong place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's like we always say, do your own research, folks. Do your own research.
Do your own research. Yeah, man. So we appreciate it. So do you have that colony to give away that we can give away on marbles? I mean,
let's let the chat decide. I got 2 right here that popped up. This one, you can see. Can you guys see that?
We can see it a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
And I got one right under it. Very similar. This one's just blue. No banana on the head. I'll let you guys decide.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I think I'm a second. I'm going number 2 for that one.
One or two, chat.
Should we let you guys decide?
Metaphorically, Asher.
And the other thing you can do too, Cade, is if you want to, I guess you're not going to be, I was saying like you could stay on for marbles too, since you're giving away your first one and we could run the marbles and give it away, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it in real time. So it's totally up to whatever you want to do.
Whatever. I'll just stay, I guess. Like, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's up to you. You don't have to, since you're giving away your NFT. I just didn't want to be like, hey, thanks for the free NFT. See you later.
No, that's fine. I do have to edit a video. It's like 9:30 here. I'm in Mountain Time.
Okay.
But let me pull up my MetaMask because I'm gonna probably have to copy and paste it from this Twitch, and so I don't want to do it on my phone and risk messing it up.
Right. So how about we do this? We'll switch over to the marbles game, and then all we'll do is whoever wins the marbles game, I will just DM you in Twitter with the person's Discord ID and MetaMask wallet, and then you can go from there. Does that sound right, or am I missing anything?
That sounds good to me. Whatever you guys want to do.
Perfect.
That sounds great.
That's
Perfect.
We'll record their MetaMask wallet, Discord ID, and I'll hit you on Twitter. But dude, wrapping up, thanks again. Epic time. We literally talked for almost 2 hours. Again, felt like 15 minutes. We definitely will want you back on the show in the future. I can't wait to see you build your influence, we build ours, and just see how we can grow together and keep on cross-pollinating in the future, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I think our paths are definitely going to cross again in the Joyage for sure.
100%, 100%. And it's funny because here's the craziest part. It's like before this conversation, you were just a dude I saw on Twitter. I had no idea who you were. I was like, should I follow him? Should I follow these guys? I know I knew Mikey a little bit, and I was like, yeah, like cool. And now I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, like what is your Twitter? You know, like let's. And this is like the power of talking and networking. Like I want to hang out with you now. Like I want to talk. And if you had an NFT, I'd be way more interested in buying your NFT, right? Like if you hear an interview, you're like, dude, that guy was cool. Like does he have NFTs? And a lot of time they do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I do a nonprofit Jolly Elves NFT right now, but unfortunately we have not minted more than I wanted to. But you should check it out. It's at least the money's going toward a good cause. But we also do talk about that, Cade, because in a past life I actually ran Geico's marketing and brand. So I did all their TV commercials and radio ads. So I have a robust production crew network, and I know like one of my good buddies is the guy that made the Gecko and did all the Harry Potter films and stuff. So launching a legit NFT, a year from now that is me, Asher, and like my crew of people with Matt is definitely a thought process. But I'm gonna take your advice, and I know this is the right advice. I'm gonna take my time, do it right, and not rush into anything.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I want to hear about it, dude, when it's happening. that sounds awesome. You know,
we will keep you in the loop for sure, man. Definitely love getting a chance to
Yeah.
hang out and talk with you.
Yeah. So thank you so
and
much.
I just followed you back, but Asher, I couldn't find. I don't know if you followed me on Twitter or can't find you.
Of
What's your
course I
Twitter?
did, man. Just Soul Asher and then another underscore.
Asher hates Soul.
Fire.
I hate Soul. Do I?
Yeah. Asher's not a big Soul
Must
guy.
be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate everyone listening, and I appreciate everyone like leaving the chat. I wasn't able to read the chat for some reason. My thing's weird. Like I can't see Mikey's camera on the Discord chat, but I can see it on Twitch, but it's lag. So I was toggling between them because I wanted to see him talk and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so it'll be a VOD. You can go back and watch it. You know, feel free to text me via Twitter too. Like if there's somebody that you saw in chat that had a good question or was trying to reach out to you, just let me know and I can get you connected up, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that sounds great, guys. I appreciate everyone listening.
Right,
you guys having me on.
I'm already gonna
so
say
much.
I'm gonna go out, dude. I love you, bro. I appreciate you.
I love you guys.
Absolutely.
This was super fun. Honestly, it's so refreshing to talk to human beings who share a similar mindset and see the future a little bit instead of just thinking about tomorrow's gains, you know?
Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate it, man. And we will be talking sooner than later. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
Awesome.
good. All right. Do I have to
Take
get
it
out of
easy.
here? Do I just click hang up or something?
Yep.
Correct?
You just click the hang up.
Hang up.
That's that.
And
Boom.
that was that.
Lovely.
And Maddie Mintz has now become Cade.